More or less, thanks, Doc. And we'll jump right back into it. This is, we've got 142 slides in this deck. Again, we're at what, 60, 61 right now? So I've got 3 weeks to teach this. We'll see how far we get tonight, and then for my new conference, I've got access to that DB Sport thing now. So I've got access to all the college football games over the past 4 or 5 years, bowls, and every single league, every single game. So I promise I can come up with some content if we breeze through it. But there's enough for us to talk about, so we will do so. And for the folks watching at home, I misunderstood the assignment last time, but this is our first question. Out of the 3 you're going to have to answer, what is the title of slide 61? That'll be tackles considered in the free blocking zone. Yeah, if you're watching this for credit, email this one and the 2 other ones that will follow to Garrick, and we'll get you some meeting credit. So, Jonathan, what did I say last week? The tackle box is the tackle box, right? We're not going to, I mean, it's Royster, what's the test dimensions?
3 yards.
In the defensive and offensive backfield?
Yeah.
And then 4 yards to either side of the snapper, is that right? Okay, so left side picture, we've got wide splits, regular splits. Even if they were tight splits, we're likely not going to put the tight end in the tackle box. Give the, there may be a once in a career occasion where there was just some funky formation, we put the tackles out of the tackle box, but again, with these wide splits, or what you see on the screen with the regular splits, they are going to be in both cases. So we'll go ahead and start up some video. That's the right one? Admiral.
Production room. I was in the production room all the whole time. Huh? The service. The service. We broadcast it online and stuff. Yeah, I was doing. Yeah.
Now we've only got 30 left.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
All right, so rule of thumb is 3 hard steps will get you out of the free blocking zone. That's, I think that is the generally accepted rule of thumb or measure throughout the country that I've heard going to these camps and clinics and stuff. So let's just watch them. They draw it conveniently for us there. Takes a step back. 2 hard steps, 2 hard steps back the other way, and you can see by the lines on the field he is not anywhere near getting out of it. So it's a lot of scrambling. When you're on the field, you're backing up in the end zone. You under your feet, you now see colors in your peripheral. It's easy to lose him, but we do say also when in doubt, put him out. But essentially, this is him just dropping straight back and dumping it. So what do we have here? Is that a foul for intentional grounding?
Yes.
Yeah.
If there's no receiver in the area, which there wasn't, I see you, John Price. You're holding up the safety signal. He threw that from the middle of the end zone.
Yeah.
Yep.
We seen that back in December.
Yep. Yeah, you did, and you were all over it. So, does B have the option to decline this and not take a safety? Or is this a safety any way they slice it? On the yard, again, yeah, I think it's a safety, regardless of what happens.
Ooh, this is stuck on.
So we got another one. So we're snapping from left hash, right? He got to the lateral edge, but is there any receiver in the area over there?
Nope.
The ground where he dumped it? No,
Close.
nowhere close. So this is a tight play. This
Looks like he's down before he even throws it.
it's tight. If we want to run it and do that, but we'll just say he's not. Referees, it's incumbent on you to keep your spacing. Some of the film I watch down at Wagner Sally, the guys are getting 10-yard splits. Referees, that is, prior to the play. We want you at least 12, but 14, 15 is desirable. Wagner Sally, I can see the the desire to creep up a little bit because they maybe throw 2 passes a game, so you're not going to get a QB in your lap most often. But here, what I'm getting at is just keep optimal viewing distance, be able to rule on whether or not that knee hits or that the side of that hip before he releases this ball. So, what are our 2 criteria? We need a receiver in the area or the ball back to the neutral zone extended.
Yeah.
Neutral zone or neutral zone extended if he's outside the tackle box. He's pretty much in the middle of the hashes. High school, he'd be on the edge of the tackle box here. He's out. We'll put him out. But is there a receiver in the area or does this get back to the neutral zone extended?
No.
Heck no. So what is the enforcement on intentional grounding?
5 yards from the spot.
Yep, 5 yards, spot of the foul, loss of down. We in agreement?
What's the other issue with that? Look at the clock of that thing.
Yep, so that's in the notes. So watch the game clock.
What are we gonna do when we enforce that?
Should have added back. Assuming somebody knows it.
So,
Yeah.
you ask if in the team, they're obviously gonna say, well, we don't want to throw on the snap. Well, actually, no, there's no option.
There's no option.
So, but because they're inside of a minute and they threw the ball away illegally to conserve time, what can we do? Or what are we going to do?
Start on the ready.
Yep. So the chat in the background for those at home, if you can't hear it, is that there's some critical timing considerations here. Tight ball game, 4th quarter, under a minute, and we lose pretty much 5 seconds. 38 when he's down, and when the pass hits the ground to 33 seconds. 5-man crew, the people up front, at least the 2 wings and the referee likely not going to know what the hell's going on at the time. Back judge, really incumbent on you in this case to notice that 5 seconds ticking off. And yeah, this late in the game, illegal forward pass, we're going to think ready every time. So this play got a lot of buzz last year, and in fact, there's a new addition to the rule book because of it. The interpretation from Steve Shaw and the powers that be is that if a pass is not clearly backward, in this particular instance, then it's forward. So it's kind of a dimly lit stadium, or the shadows are messing with us, but as you can see, he takes it and he fakes the jet sweep. I could get a zoom in later on, but the quarterback basically throws it up to himself. The jet sweeper feigns catching it. There's a good view. So, yep. So when we get to that view, is that a problem?
Consider that a forward pass, the second forward pass of the day. Well, if we drop it, what are you gonna do? All that incomplete, consider that. Yeah, a forward pass.
Too far.
Yeah,
Looks like he throws it straight up.
Yeah, but if he drops it, you're likely gonna kill it for an incomplete pass. So you're ruling that it's forward.
Yeah, in front of him is forward.
Because they always say, we do this so that if they don't catch it, then you call it incomplete. So we're gonna treat them like they tell us that we want them to see it.
Yeah, philosophy-wise, if he drops this, you'd be best shutting it down, right? So
So therefore it's forward.
on the same token, this is a foul now, right? It wasn't last year. They had probably never seen this. Nice gadget play. It worked.
Now I guess if he's like dropping back and throws it and you can clearly see the ball moving backwards with him, then that's a good use of the deception, right?
Sure
And then
enough.
you would definitely not want to kill it.
It didn't look forward to me.
In front of him, it's forward.
Yeah, but he's moving back.
He's moving backwards though.
It's almost like the ball moves faster.
Better angle.
I'm calling it, I'm just.
Better angle.
Would that be any different? Like, say if he, like these guys, they get fancy, right? Say if he's flipping it, grab the laces to throw it. Like, what's going to be the difference between that?
Like,
Yeah, he's right there in that same thing.
Rattler does it, spinning it, and I mean, all the kids
Yeah,
do.
but like
They're
not the
fancy.
spin, but he throws it up. Like they're that good. They just throw it up. They flip the laces, then toss. I mean, like that's gonna get.
Well, I think you're messing with it.
You
I
know,
wouldn't go
see,
messing with
he
that.
does that all game. He doesn't do that all game. He doesn't do that every snap.
Yeah.
Yep, so we, gotten guidance on Saturdays about this. This is a forward pass and therefore an illegal forward pass when he throws the second one.
His
We're not
hands
gonna
even
see,
went by his waist.
not gonna see this in the casebook on Friday. So just, again, use your judgment, but I think if he drops it, shut it down, kill it.
Did they see that anywhere else? Was it just that one?
I think it's just this one play. And it became an addition to the rule book, kind of like that slide.
Don't show that play to any college or high school kids or coaches.
Oh, coaches are on YouTube.
So
Somebody found that already.
That sport's got to try.
with a player down there on the pylon right there, before I even showed it, you gotta be thinking, we're gonna have a free kick, right? So let's see what happens here. Everybody's on side,
That's a good pre-game coach.
so we shut that down on
Oh,
They got a forward pass there.
Yeah, so the notes here do say ignore kicking in the end zone. Of course, we know that this ball clearly crosses by a yard or two and it's in the end zone, but he throws from the 9 or 10
Throws it forward completely.
to the 12 or 13, so it's forward. That's a foul for an illegal forward pass after change of possession, or a forward pass by the defense. Rather, he's offense now. What's the enforcement there?
5 yards.
5 yards.
Where the pass was still.
Yeah, second down. End of it.
Second and 10.
So that's a good point. It does, the statement of penalty says loss of down, but we're not gonna have a loss of down there, right? We're gonna start it on first down. What if he drops that,
Kill it.
pass?
Incomplete.
Kill it. It's an incomplete pass.
It's an incomplete pass, right? Even though it's an illegal forward pass, you gotta kill it. And it's tough one to blow.
It's a tough one.
My very first big time scrimmage, I had, was at Calhoun County the night before, and I get to go to a stadium with a whole bunch more seats than that the next day. You know, it wasn't ready. But this team on the last play of the scrimmage, they're like, yeah, go ahead and get in there. I'm subbing for some cat who's been off 5 bowl games, and sure enough, they're doing kicks just to round out the scrimmage, and I see this. And it's to my way. It's clearly forward pass by 5 or 7 yards, as clear as this or more. That guy drops it. He overthrows him, and I'll let the thing bounce around for a good 3, 4, 5 seconds till it rolls out of down. Whispering that back there, Mommy, kill it, kill it. Still wishing this day I would have, but yeah, it's a tough one to blow. You gotta be ready for it, right? Just like onside kicks at any point in the game, be ready for some shenanigans like this. So we got the black line to help us out here. Anybody see? I heard some oohs and ahs.
He is beyond the line of sprint and throws the ball.
Yeah, where's that black line on Friday night?
Yeah.
That's why the
It's
wings
the soccer
should be
line.
really slow to move
So it's
down.
the
Soccer line.
Snapping from the 47. He's passed it, his whole body's passed it. What's the high school rule book say about,
Gotta be both feet behind.
both feet behind?
The change rule,
So-
yeah, on Friday, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Again, because we don't have a black line, it needs to be this obvious. It should be obvious enough to where the wing officials can see it as well. It's a very, very tough call for the referee and umpire to get in there and do it, but the mechanic is that if you see it, if you suspect that he might be, the passer might be beyond the line of scrimmage, run to the spot, compare it with the box, and if you're there and it's clearly beyond, you're not guessing at it, you can drop it. Okay.
Here we got live action
So
on
this,
Friday night.
yes, FNR, disregard the video title there, but so can he do this? Shotgun snap, catches it,
Yes.
Yes.
he spikes it.
Yeah.
Was that immediate?
Yes.
Yeah,
There's no muff there, right? Didn't hit the ground?
It's a rule change.
I didn't see it. Can you, replay that?
Yep.
Those are rule changes.
Watch the quarterback.
Catches it, throws it down forward, throws it down forward.
Throws it down forward. So that, yep, that was clean enough. There was no muff there. That's what you would want on,
Give me a play.
Come on, coach.
all right. What if that hits the ground? Is there a problem?
If the snap hits the ground? Yes.
If it bounces to him?
That is all right.
He catches it immediately, throws it into the ground. So the rule says that he may not have muffed the ball, nor made it hit the ground.
Right.
It's a problem in either of those situations.
Like this one right here.
And you have to possess it to do that too.
Yes.
You can't slap at it straight down, that's
Yep.
that's batting the backwards patch.
Yep, and that is, yep, good point.
Like this one. And that one goes backwards and everything else. Should have been a live ball.
That's the one where you turn around and spike it backwards.
Yeah. Arkansas clearly recovered it.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. That one they botched pretty good. I remember watching that
I'm
one.
glad COVID doesn't interfere with that.
So the flag is for exactly what we just discussed. They would love to spike the ball here. In fact, you can see in a second that they're doing so, but
And then he dropped it backwards, spiked it backwards.
for our purposes, he muffed that and it hit the ground. That's the double whammy. It would be a foul in either of those cases, and we got both here. Referee is promptly all over it.
Oh, he's being.
Inhale. Extended proof.
So we know that, again, you can legally spike the ball from the shotgun formation, clean gather of the snap, and it doesn't hit the ground. That direct hand-to-hand snap, that's always been a rule, and you can still do it. So, 2.4, catch. Touching precedes the catch. So catching is always preceded by touching the ball, thus the touching causes the ball to become dead. Securing possession has no significance. This comes into play, all those plays we saw last week, where now a player being out of bounds, touching, any body part touching, this is what that's talking about. If his foot is touching out of bounds, reaches his hand up while the foot is still on the sideline and touches the pass, doesn't matter if he catches it or not, it's dead as soon as he touches it. Simultaneous catch or recovery, it's when there's joint possession of a live ball by opposing players who are in bounds. All right, for those watching at home, slide 7, we've got another question. What's the definition on this slide? There's a few words: legal pass, illegal pass, but catch is the definition we're going for here. Send it in here for your credit. So legal and illegal pass. Check it out. Won't read them all to you. We just know we talked about it a little bit on the free kick, whether when the pass potentially drops incomplete. A lot of what this is saying here. We're gonna let the play continue. Passer beyond the line of scrimmage, Can't remember the play a couple prior where they got through it from the 47, but if that was complete, then the receiver can run and do as he would on a legal forward pass. So legal and illegal pass down continues. Player needs 1 foot inbounds prior to contacting sideline or anything other than a player or official who's out of bounds. Incomplete, pass touches the ground. Inbounds or out of bounds, not in player possession. Out of bounds player touches pass, that is, again, someone standing on the sideline, or an airborne player lands out of bounds, touching a pass. And I guess what that's saying, somebody jumps from inbounds, gains control, or holds the ball in their hands and then lands first out of bounds. There's no possession there, right? There's no catch, and that's an incomplete pass. Joint possession belongs to the passing team and the down ends. What about on 4th down? If we've got a scrimmage kick in the air and we rule that there's joint possession of that, who's
Aura.
So in that case, if it's 4th down and we do have a punt or whatnot, then we're gonna give it to R in that case versus 1st, 2nd, or 3rd down, joint possession passes, any other kind of simultaneous catch or recovery you can think of would go to team A. So catch or no catch, we could watch a lot of these, but we will go through a few. So definition again, player possesses and holds or controls is the appropriate word. We don't have possession until it hits, but so player controls the ball in flight, first contacts the ground inbounds, maintains possession after hitting the ground, if he goes to the ground, as in falls, that is. We've got a play. I'll try to enlarge it much. We do get a zoomed in view. Looks like a catch to me, huh? It's tough because he's bouncing. Does he get his arms under it? But yeah, not even the elbow, but I think even that knee kind of slides in as well. So Friday night down wherever you are, I believe is the catch.
Yeah, I don't care what score you're at Friday night, that's a catch.
For sure.
Lighting would be so bad, nobody would say anything.
That's right.
Quit talking about Dutch Fort like that.
All right, so Garrick told me that these actually came from NFHS. Surprised that they were able to put out such high quality, coherent content, but here it is. I'm fully on board with what these have to say, and it's the feet ball thing. These are in order and just not what we should look at. So one, they're tiered that way because feet. If you don't have feet, you don't have a catch, right? So we've got to, as I talked about last year and earlier on with referees, line of scrimmage people same way. That's why you don't want to drift too far. Sometimes drifting can put you too far into the play, shortens your viewing distance, and just really affects your ability to make a sound decision on the field. We'll watch the tape, see what it's got to say. So sideline catch. So he's got 2 feet in, right? That's what we need.
No.
Yeah.
1 foot.
No, you just need 1 foot.
One.
Still a catch if he gets 2.
You get a couple credits. You get 3 cameras.
2 meetings for that pitch.
It's 10 and 6 in bounds.
Depends on which inline you're looking at on that shot. There's 4 of us over there.
So still, I hear it in nearly half or more of the pre-games that we do. I'm not calling anybody out, but it's just, it's an antiquated way of thinking, saying that, the feet ball thing. No two football plays have ever been alike. I mean, they're similar, but the way you're on the field, the way you position yourself, what direction the pass is thrown, there's so many variables that can have, which assistant wants to get into your way. You tell your buddy walking out of the locker room, yeah, I got ball the whole time. Yeah, I got you, man. That is not a sound philosophy or way to do things. So again, feet, then ball is what we're looking at, and that'll serve you well. Trouble viewing that one, so we'll move forward. Forward progress of airborne receiver. So again, to have a catch, we need player control of the ball in flight, and then first contact in the ground inbounds when he comes down, and maintains possession after hitting the ground if and he subsequently goes to the ground. Forward progress of the airborne. Airborne player controls the ball, furthest point of advancement after he controls it, and then comes down with possession. So we'll see a video about it in a minute, but then 234.1 talks about possession and player possession after catching the ball. Is this also NFHS or Madden? And the difference is, what do we need for forward progress? I mean, a lot of things. Contact by B is what I'm getting at with that question. So, if a receiver is unopposed, unimpeded, jumps forward from his end zone into the field of play and is never contacted, he possesses it, but possesses it over his end zone, teammate that is, and for an apparent touchdown if he were to be contacted, but he's not, and he lands under his own volition out back into the field of play. We'll talk about that, what that is. Yep, so there's no forward progress offered there. So, I don't know if you can see what that says, I barely can. Blue, which is the offense, has possession of the ball, and is contacted by white 24. Foremost point of the ball is in the end zone. That's on the left slide. Right side, blue player has possession of the ball above the end zone. And he's not contacted until he hits the ground. That was the scenario I talked about before we played the clip. So we understand the difference there of when a teammate would get the touchdown and when they would not. It's again, it's the definition of forward progress that B contact by B defender. So a real life example. 2-point try. Got the line of scrimmage official here throwing it up high. It's good. So control over the end zone, contacted by B. Maintains control through the ground and has possession at that point. Everybody got a touchdown? Anybody not have a touchdown? All right, catch or no catch?
Looked like
So he's got it, looks like he does tuck it, he's got it for quite a while as well. Goes to the ground, then, then it's out. Yeah, I think you're well served to rule that catch. So pass eligibility only applies to legal forward passes. A player, and a legal forward pass will go with that definition, but an A player releases the ball with both feet of the passer in or behind the neutral zone being a plane. Eligibility rules differ for A players based on number and positioning. All B players are eligible to start the down. So what do we mean by numbers and positioning?
Eligible number, eligible by position, lineman.
Yeah, so that's the two ways you can be eligible, right? There, what we're going to talk about. So backs are eligible by position, and they may not be eligible by number, but certainly all backs start eligible from where they're lined up. It says here not numbered 50 through 79. So those are the magic numbers that deal with eligibility. So ineligible receivers are people that position between the ends, which we refer to colloquially as covered up, right? Or numbered 50 through 79. All players eligible to start of the down remain eligible throughout the down. So that's a fundamental for sure. And that just means that a player what are some ways you can think of that they might be rendered ineligible? Stepping out of bounds, we see that in other leagues, but there's nothing they can do during the down that would make them ineligible. All A players eligible after B touches a forward pass. And that's the only time. It doesn't say anything about official or non-player or anything else. B's got to touch it for restraints, so to speak, to come off. So just take a look at the picture, see who's eligible. So by number at least, can't tell what that fullback's number is, looks like 25 or 35. We've got two arrows to the left side there. One, I guess we're putting as a wing back, so just for talking purposes, we'll do that. He's number 9 or 6 or 9 or 8. He's next to number 80. 80 is an eligible number, right? We're saying he's not covered up here, so he's eligible. We don't have any receivers out to that right side, so big number 75 right there. He's eligible now. No, but because he's wearing a bad number, right?
Unless he reports, right?
Unless he reports. So everybody's picking up what I'm saying is that numbers, we've got to be aware. In line of scrimmage people, it's one of the things I struggled with early on in the season, lining players up, and you're so worried about where are they and getting them in that you may not even look down further onto the actual line of scrimmage or into the mix, so to speak, and see see which player your end might be covering up in there. So always be aware of that, because you could have an eligible number and you don't want to miss that. Significance of player eligibility. So ineligible players restricted during legal forward passes, restricted movement and restricted on whether or not they can touch the pass. And they can't until some things happen. The fouls we might see are ineligible downfield. The signal 37 is there. John Price, we don't want to pat our head, do we?
No.
No. So it's just placing the hand flat on your head. First touching, illegal touching, that's the same signal. And illegal touching comes with a loss of down as well. So of note, I wonder, I'm not sure if the book addresses this foul specifically, but illegal touching was always a basic spot foul. So if number 78 touched a legal forward pass 4 yards in the backfield, then that was going to be a spot foul. And we're going to take it 5 yards from there, loss of down. It's not, you're thinking because it's a legal pass, maybe previous spot, but it's just, again, one of those where it falls under the all but one principle, and pretty sure it's still that way. So just something to note there. All right, so we got 8 stepping out of bounds there. He loses his eligibility there, is that right?
No,
Nope, nope, he does not. What can't he do now, though? Or can't come back in bounds, right? I mean, he's an A player before a change of possession. He ran out of bounds on his own, regardless of, you know, I believe the legal participation rule says whether or not he intends to or not. B can step out if it's on accident, I guess you would say, but A cannot. If they get out of bounds and they weren't pushed, then he can't come back in. So he's back in. Is he established there at that point?
yes.
You know, that hand almost made him back out of bounds. Did we see that? So whether it is or it isn't, but you know, if the pass hits him in the face mask right now, and you've got that hand out of bounds, then what's the ruling on the field? It's dead. It's touched by an out of bounds player, incomplete pass. So, but he establishes, he's on his knees, catches it, looks like a very clean catch. What's the problem though? Went out of bounds. So legal participation, we were just talking about legal forward pass plays and basic spot for that. John, how are we gonna enforce that?
That's gonna be that's what type of play do you have?
A loose
Okay,
ball
loose
play.
ball, so what's your basic spot for loose ball play?
Previous spot.
There you go.
Yeah, so the foul, the player was not ineligible, right? We established that, so that whole catch and the sequence of that, everything was fine there. The foul was him going out of bounds. The foul is coming back in bounds, and that's where our spot of the foul is gonna be. Spot of the flag is important there. We know that that's beyond the basic spot. Like John said, the basic spot on loose ball play is the previous spot. We're coming back there 15 yards, and depending, yeah, we're well downfield, so, yeah, just wanted to look before I said any, anything about half the distance, but again, we're well into positive territory, so. Everybody good?
Well, we got lost hats and all kinds of things, didn't we?
Yeah, bunch going on here.
Carry 2 flags, where do you do that? Yeah. Make sure I call him Bill on each end.
Oh,
It's like,
He sees his buddy running down without a hat and
yeah.
decides to do it too.
He was processing.
meanwhile, this should be a running clock when it's 58-14.
Yeah. So they kind of talk about it. So what are we thinking? That he was obviously pushed out of bounds, right?
Gotta need some practice.
He came back in at first opportunity, so I don't see anything wrong with the action on how he got out or came back in. Yeah, so they end up, they call us a catch on the field. They call a catch on the field, end up going to replay, and they say it's not a catch because ball hit the ground, basically before got his hands under it. But this is very tight to him, what we're gonna, again, say amongst friends, establishing back in bounds. So check it again. So that foot, I mean, it's tight as it can be. He's back in, but he's touching it now. So I mean, it's nearly simultaneous. That's just a ruling. You've got to maintain your distance and make a call on him.
Oh, yeah, he did that.
But it bounced. So you can see that from that angle now. The pylon cam. So a lot of things to consider now. So ineligible downfield. Lineman restriction moving downfield until legal forward pass crosses the neutral zone in flight, until it's released, right, is what that should say. Ineligible A may advance into expanded neutral zone snap, B engaged with B, not a requirement. it used to be our philosophy, I don't know if it was written anywhere or not, but we would just say that, yeah, for him to get that 2-yard privilege of the expanded neutral zone, he needs to fire off the ball and be engaged with somebody. We're gonna talk in a minute about him being engaged with someone and the implications that can have on pass interference by the offense, but restrictions end for ineligibles downfield when B touches the pass in or behind the neutral zone. Does not apply to illegal forward passes or illegal forward passes caught in or behind the neutral zone. So just kind of like pass interference there with those.
Brian, that first bullet, go back,
Yeah.
just so I'm clear. That's not right, right? It's when the ball leaves the quarterback's hands, or is it high school, is it different?
Lineman restricted from moving downfield
Should be.
prior to release
Correct.
of legal forward pass that.
It's not when it leaves the quarterback's hands, it's when the ball crosses the
No,
neutral
prior,
zone.
restricted prior to release. Yeah, so we'll make that point. The point you're making, without me, trying to make a coherent sentence on the fly is correct. Once he releases the ball, he can go downfield. Got that? Everybody good on it?
You don't have
So
to
it's-
cross, I thought it cross.
Well, the pass inevitably has to cross, but when
The way that
it
reads, it
crosses,
says the lineman can't go downfield until the ball crosses the neutral zone. That's not right. The lineman can go downfield once the quarterback releases the ball.
yep, as soon as it leaves its hand, they can jet downfield as quick as they want. Obviously, all that's going to be mostly instantaneous, but they are.
That's the way I rule it, so I don't know, I could be wrong.
Either way, it's splitting hairs. It's not gonna take him that long to get that ball 6 yards.
They already downfield anyway before they ever throw that. So,
Yep. So with
But for test purposes, if that's on the test, it's when it leaves his hand.
when it leaves his hands, good point there. I kind of breezed over it, but yeah, we need to, when it's wrong on here and people are going to be studying it, so.
Submit that to Gary. What did you correct? It's 585.
Expanded neutral zone may be expanded following the snap up to a maximum 2 yards behind the defensive line of scrimmage. That's important. In the field of play during any scrimmage down, only in one direction. And we said it, that's towards team B's or team R's team zone. Why do we expand the neutral zone? What's it say to allow for normal line play?
Yeah. Let it drive that guy back 2 yards.
Exactly.
Cheap.
So we got some ineligible downfield action here. We'll take a look. So we said, what's the rule?
Defensive guys.
you can only go down
Ball
2.
2 yards.
2 yards. Anything beyond 2 is a foul, right?
See,
If it crosses,
He was blocking somebody though.
So
oh, he didn't pat his head, that's a good job.
very good job. That's I was going to mention that on this call. So referees take note of this referee announcing this, but so 2 yards. If you're going what I've heard said 2 yards and an elbow, you're going to guess wrong an awful lot of times. Make this a big foul. Make it a big foul. I'm not going to put any yard parameters in there saying, don't call it if he's under 5 or whatever, but just make doggone sure. I was in some late season games with heavy implications and got one wrong or 2. So just know it's there.
Hey, pass, where do you want?
that's the back.
All right, so let's check this formation for a minute. We talk about making people legal if we can. Let's watch this slot receiver on the bottom. Points back gives you a big demonstrative point back, right?
He's off the line. Definitely.
Him being off, does that make 5? if you put him off and just moved on to the next play, would anybody be the wiser? He makes number 4 if you put him on, but is there a blade of grass between that outside guy and him? So some people in the room would say yes, we're gonna make that legal, but this made the national college training tape and said, this is a foul for him being covered up and going downfield. But again, that quarterback never looked over there not for one split second. He knew where he was going. That was away from the thing. We can talk philosophy, but yes, if you cover him up, we said it last week, said it every time we talk about ineligible. You gotta know what he does. You're gonna cover somebody up once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. Let him catch a pass in the end zone, and you'll understand it.
So as for Wayne, you're seeing, you're showing a closed fist, but the coach is screaming that he pointed back.
Yeah, so you just gotta tell him, Coach, I'm by the book.
Just point to his right.
Because if he's saying that he's off, then they got 5 in the backfield. Because the other guy on the other side is definitely off.
I think he's clearly
on. Yeah, on the top of the screen, he's on.
You think? He's putting the line of scrimmage is 29.
Look at the tackle on that side. He's in front of him. Just like the slot guy on
That guy's off too.
That time he's really fast.
He's breaking the.
This guy's
center
closer
button.
than the other guy is.
I would just, here, again, we won't talk philosophy too much, but okay, well, I would say give him what he wants. He's telling you clearly that he's off. He doesn't make the 5th player. Gave you the signal. They're not in press cover. I mean, that linebacker knows who he's looking at. They're not fooling anybody with this. And that's what we're trying to take out of the game, right? We're trying to let him play and not let him do any funny business. So. You see big number 65 there. You guys see the snapper, he goes and gets the linebacker and dances with him for a second.
So in high school, do they still want that as a foul?
Yeah.
So that's what the notes say. In other books, because he legally grounded it, and the philosophy is that he legally grounded it, we're gonna go to the next down anyway. If it's 3rd down and a 4th down, then they're likely going to decline this. It just saves us one little step on declining it and moving on. Could very well not be 3rd down though in this passing situation, but yeah, it's a foul. If you call IDP ineligible downfield player, there's nothing that would take you off of it for a legally grounded ball. So
The lineman's down. Oh, lineman down.
Yeah.
yep, still
6 yards now.
Quarterback, and I'm thinking, what did you do?
I mean, usually we can use replay it down, back him up, power to decline it.
Yeah, that's one note.
So once he's got his minute, he's basically crossing over the sideline like those out of bounds. Is that legal? Can he legally ground the ball in that case?
Yes.
1, 2, 3.
Clean as you want to see. Well beyond.
So they get to the number.
All right, my friends watching at home, we've reached the 3rd slide that we're going to ask you about. What is the foul discussed on slide 90? That's illegal touching. So, ineligible A player bats, muffs, catches a legal forward pass. There's an intentional act. Restrictions end if B touches the pass. So, we had a play last year, I don't know if it's on here or not, where maybe a couple years ago where a college lineman bats a muff pass or something, and that is not the rule. And me included, a few of the smart guys wanted like, well, it's batting and illegal touching, but clearly says here that a bat by an ineligible player is illegal touching. We wouldn't want to put anything more on it than that.
Backwards pass.
So thanks, Jonathan. A few things going on here. First you gotta determine is that forward or backward. Whose call is that right there? Certainly wings will default to them, but this is close enough there where, I mean,
Backwards passing a fumble.
I don't know, it's a lot of people saying that's a backward pass. So what determines forward or backward pass? Just the initial direction with which it's thrown, right? A forward pass is forward, parallel or towards A's inline is backward. Is that right? All right, so let's watch it one more time intently with that knowledge.
Close. It looked like it went backwards.
That was closer than I thought.
Half the room's gonna say one thing, I say the other.
So maybe a few of you sold me. That does sort of look parallel, but the point of the slide is if it's forward, even though 75's in the backfield, can he touch that?
Not legally.
Not legally, right? He cannot purposefully put his hands on that pass. So if we do throw it, which it looks like they did, on Friday nights, this is going to be a spot foul, right? What it is got through saying. So this is several yards in the backfield. Make sure that happens. We don't want to misenforce the penalties. We're not lagging. This has just got a lot of discussion to it.
He would have touched it for 79, correct?
So I paused it. Let's take a look at this formation.
Long time.
Cromwell, Malfrey, you want to talk about this and what you see? Somebody's covered up in there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, whether or not it's a tackle over or a tight end, it's tough to tell. The video, I think.
I put both wideouts off. It looks like they want both off. Got an unbalanced line. Or is that a quarterback or is that shotgun?
Quarterback.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, you gotta have that wideout on. Got it.
Yep. So widest guy's got to be on. We've got a wing back, quarterback, and under center, and of course a slot guy that obviously wants to be off. So, but no, good point, good talking. So he's on. Putting him off would make certainly that inside guy eligible if he's got an eligible number on, but we can't. That would cause an illegal formation. We're going to give them what we can up front.
What's the signal?
Yeah, what's the signal if we're covering this tight end up?
We'll be punching the fist toward the defensive.
Towards the defensive backfield, right?
Should.
All right, so now we got that's not my mouse cursor, that's somebody else looking at him. Identifying that he's bad potentially.
The key is you don't have anything to let that ball go back beyond the line of scrimmage.
What does he do? Man, he leaks out all by himself.
You got a flag.
Got a flag.
We
should have a flag. I don't know if they do or not, but maybe that's why I made the tape. But so, listen, this is Oklahoma, number 3 Oklahoma at the time. These linebackers, they assessed this play probably before it even started there. We didn't have to mess with number 0, whoever that was. They were like, hey, he's done. We see that guy out there. These sharp, high-speed cats diagnosed it before it even started. They left him uncovered, presumably. Yeah, because he's ineligible. We would too. And there he goes. Yeah. So hope the guys got it on the field. But yeah, that's one where we couldn't help him out much with pre-snap allowances. So pass interference. This is I think questions like these have been on the test since I've been in. pass interference restrictions begin at the snap for A, and why is that?
They know where to go. They know
the
the
play.
play.
They know the play. They know the play. And B, restrictions when the ball is released. So requirements to have pass interference for A or B is a legal forward pass crosses the neutral zone untouched by B. So one other criteria is that the contact has to be beyond the neutral zone as well, right? So if we've got some early contact in the backfield on a pass that's caught behind the line of scrimmage, is there anything there the way I described it? I mean, not really, unless it's, of course, rises to personal foul level or somebody gets thrown down or whatever, but could have holding. But not pass interference. So A restrictions end, eligible A players when, these are pass interference restrictions now, not eligibility restrictions, but A pass interference restrictions end for eligible A players when a pass is touched by A or B. Ineligible players may block to ward off an opponent. So I would get the book and I would deep dive these things and just know what they can do. B restrictions end when pass is touched by A or B. Of course, they end for everybody when pass is incomplete. All right, this is an important slide. Unavoidable contact between two or more eligible players when attempting to move toward, catch, or bat a pass. And that's the same bullet for B there. The only thing I say about this, we see tangled feet, right? That's fine. We know that we're going to call that incidental contact. What you've got to be good at and look for is whether or not both were playing the ball, because if there's one thing I know about this, and that my former boss that I just left from where I'm going, he says, you know, if A's got a clear shot of the ball, he's looking up at it, and B is looking at the back of A's face mask or whatever, and they trip. I mean, B's not playing the ball. He doesn't get those graces there. That's putting A out of the way of catching the pass. So yeah, keep your spacing, be able to rule on that, and know whether or not they were both playing the ball and just tripped and got tangled feet. Or even if it was tangled feet, if B wasn't playing the ball, then we need to bang him for that. And not pass interference by B if B contacts eligible A, obviously away from the pass direction. So passes at the numbers, contacts at the other numbers, goes without saying. Same thing with hold too. I mean, if you know, use your discretion there, but if QB never looks at a receiver in one area, if he's just, you know, zeroing in on his AJ Green all night long, and you've got something that is maybe borderline, then yeah, you consider passing on that if it's opposite side of the field. So we just went through these. Pass interference, it's got to be a legal forward pass, right? I think that's pretty much a question every year. Wasn't it on our commissioner's test? He had that was like the biggest one. The longest question that is, in the past wasn't even eligible. You know, somebody gets ripped down by the face mask while illegal forward passes in the air beyond line of scrimmage. Yeah, so just know it's a legal forward pass first. Contact is beyond the neutral zone, and A or B hinders eligible opponent's opportunity to move towards the pass, move towards catch or bat. There's, I hate to mention it, holding as well. I've done presentation on holding last year where we talked about some of the identifiers, some of the things you'll look for, beat feet, you know, bad hands on the outside of the shoulders. There's a list of defensive and offensive pass interference identifiers, you know, early contact, playing through somebody's back. We may put those out there, and you know, you could guess at it and just make it a feel thing, but it's easier to know when you can put something into a category and say, yeah, that was probably that. Well, you know, it's not outlined in our code. Again, just to have something to hang your hat on and say, yes, that, you know, that was a you know, he grabbed his arm or restricted him or hooked him while the pass was coming in. These are all things that we see. You just kind of put a name to it. Let's see if we can send those out. So this is pretty good pass interference here, I think.
Piggyback, right?
5-man crew, this gets missed all game long.
Jones gets a sportsmanlike foul.
So we can agree that's before the ball gets there, and you hear James in the back, that's early contact, not playing through the back, it's a tackle. I mean, it's you know, holding while the pass is in the air, so that's in effect defensive pass interference, right?
No, because he was a runner. He's out of pocket runner. I want to call roughing the passer.
So
I give someone.
what about this action after the play? You know, it's not a flex, so not a flex over the guy. Man,
Yeah.
If you spit on him, yes.
that second little action, you know, depends what it, but I believe they flagged.
Pass interference. Got it right.
So it cuts
Right,
back.
here's the question, would you call a roughing the passer on this play? I said no because he's kind of a runner here. I give a little allowance, but some people like a roughing.
Yeah.
I make roughing big fouls. That's not a roughing to me.
It's running into the pass.
Yep, no, it's I mean, slightly late, but it's not an attempt to punish.
Now here's a good.
He's already thrown the ball.
All right, so penalty enforcement here on, we can talk about the merits of the foul or no foul. I'm not sure if they threw anything. Yeah, it says. No, it says DPI, but not sure if they threw anything.
Oh, well, we had a quarterback.
Frank, we talked about a couple things on this.
Yeah, sure.
Why, back judge. Little early contact,
So
not playing the ball.
the first criteria on that list of 6 that I was talking about is it's early contact / not playing the ball. This is, we watched it a few times. The contact is way less noticeable than what, you know, his helmet is looking towards the stands straight in front of him. He's not turned around at all. He maybe gets turned around late, but that's what we got to look for. Gets around at the last minute. We've got a shin that looks like it comes down. First, got control.
Higgins.
Heel. You got a heel on. Yeah, it's a good catch.
All right, so Crowell wanted to. What do you want to see, James?
That back judge, he was moving the whole time. You need to get to a spot and get still.
Okay, let's peep the back judge here and see what he's doing.
You want to get all the way to.
So pretend 5-man crew, where's the back judge? It's on the goal line, right?
Yeah.
Where they snap it from.
Two officials running.
Where they snap it from.
Yeah, now you got the same view. So the back judge get back to the end line, stay deep in the deep line, but you don't need to come all the way over. Get to a spot, get a rule on the end line.
Yeah, you don't have
But you don't have to come all the way over. Now you got the same view as the other official. I would say get on that line, split it, and then look at it, and come up and bang. You don't have to run all the way, but now your eyes are bouncing, now
If
you're
you're
moving.
if you're running,
What you done saw.
if your eyes are bouncing, this is incredibly difficult.
So the way you get this is by being still. Back to,
Yep, so whether or not that's pass interference, but he's not playing the ball, there is some slight contact there. Some people would say, let it ride out, just like any holding foul, let it simmer just a second longer. If he catches it, and hold on to it. Your foul sheet's not as long. We can enforce this, however, and this is the topic of the slide I think Mike Garrett put on here. We do throw a DPI on this. Can we get it?
Yeah.
After the play?
On Fridays, yeah.
Yep, so what can we do with it?
Try or
It's a seating kickoff, right? Can't take rid of it every time. Not that it would, well, I guess we can't bank it, that is. So it's either, you gotta pick one, it's try or it's a seating kickoff. What about what about he catches this is a big what if, but he catches it prior to the end zone and we just get a grasp and no twister turn of the face mask by the defender on the offensive player as he goes in for a touchdown. 5-yard foul.
Yes.
Anything different about that?
On Friday.
Nope, we're gonna get it, right? If somebody wants to pony up and call a 5-yard grasp of the face mask. So yeah, if it was there, then we'll get it. We'll get an option, same as any 15-yard foul. Look at the top of the screen.
It has to be at the goal line.
Yeah, that's blocking before the pass. Forward pass.
oh yeah, that's when it's over.
It's like the inside guy.
I always wonder why coaches get us sports and lights.
You like 2 men.
So offense, there's a few less criteria that we would put these things in. So one is what I think DeAndre Hopkins got a little reputation for in the NFL, was driving through a defender who's already planted in his position. So he's off. He's in a soft cushion type coverage, and the players just run off their line. Offensive player that is. And barrels into him, knocks him out of position, and turns around and catches a hitch or whatever these coaches call it. That's one. Of course, we see it where it's just a push off, right? Like you're just creating separation in general. So, and this is very clearly blocking downfield. We know that we want to make it beyond the neutral zone, and 1 yard, half a yard, that's not what we want. This guy's several yards downfield. Clearly not running around blocking this guy. This is not a good pick. This is full blown chopping his feet early August, just blocking this cat. But who's going to get it? Wing officials?
Need help from the back judge.
Back judge.
Apparently nobody.
That judge not gonna call it because the coach already told him not to call it.
That's hard in a 5-man crew, y'all. I'm just telling you.
If that's so close to the line of scrimmage, why can't a wing official fill that out?
They can. They just got a lot going on right now.
They should.
This is a foul for blocking outfield. We understand why. Pass across the line of scrimmage. The blocking was downfield. And I'm pretty sure it is because I don't know if y'all saw Muschamp going crazy.
That game in the rain?
Well, they might have called it. He was mad about that.
That and about 40 other games. Two back-to-back 2-win seasons. Like one of those.
So disregard all this. I would say though, while
Playoffs.
until we get later into the season, but Garrett does have something that he lifted from Referee Magazine, I think, where it talks about 5-man keys. And I know wing officials, especially, you're tasked with officiating the what does it say, 5 to 7 yard belt. now we've told you the past several years that we don't want you bolting off the line of scrimmage very early, but still, still gonna be 5 or 7 yard belt there. But just having a player to look at, and that's, you don't wanna focus in on that person. But just having somebody to look at initially for, those strikes to the face mask coming off the line of scrimmage or something, then you'll zone up and get where you need to be, but. I know it's a bit grainy, but we've got a pass that looks like it's tipped at the line of scrimmage. So especially with the quarterback with a good pocket like this, both the referee and the umpire should come up with high tip signals here. Let everybody know, but once, if the back judge sees that contact in the middle of the field, this hold or this white player wiping out that guy in the middle, B should still throw in here, right? If you're watching your guy intently, looking in the right place, and you see the contact, maybe you don't know that's tip. So this is a case where you would come in and talk about it. Talking about OPI and whether or not the ball crosses line of scrimmage. Gone by different philosophies the past couple of years. Finally, I think I found one that I like, is that we want to, if we identify blocking downfield or whatever, and there's a question on whether or not pass cross the line of scrimmage and you need information from your line of scrimmage officials, throw it and come talk about it. You can pick it up, but I think what we don't want is dropping a whole bunch of late flags in there. Seeing it, processing it, while it's no harm in dropping it late. You see it if it was close enough to throw, have a little combo, ask the right questions. Hey, what are we gonna say, Jonathan? Did that pass cross the line of scrimmage?
Yep.
Yep. Sure as heck did. All right, boom. We've got offense pass interference. Let's enforce it and move on.
You know, if you're 10 yards downfield.
So at 7:23, I think again we've only got 42 slides left. We can breeze through those next week, and I'll have some assorted film if we run out of things to talk about. But that's all I had. Anybody got anything?
Brian, I just have one question. I'm just unsure.
Sure.
With the new rule this year, you had mentioned twice tonight. We had a forward pass that was touched by number 78 behind the line of scrimmage, and you said it was a spot foul.
Yep.
But if we have a holding, then we're going from the line of scrimmage.
Previous spot.
From the previous spot. What's the difference?
That's a great question.
It is.
I had the exact same question.
And
I was gonna say the same. That's behind.
Because I can't find anything in Rule 10 why it wouldn't be.
yes, I don't want to be on tape maligning the people that wrote this thing. So
I just don't see anything where it's not.
But I don't think they had the